Hi. If every Christian is a soldier, then every leader, by virtue of entering that role, is in a battle. And if wearing the whole armour of God is necessary for the Christian, and it certainly is, then the leader has to make doubly sure that they're protected. There are pressures in any secular role, but the Christian leader is operating in a spiritual dimension as well. Or as the Bible puts it, the weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. The Message paraphrase puts it like this: the tools of our trade aren't for marketing or manipulation, but they're for demolishing that entire massively corrupt culture. We use our powerful God tools for smashing warped philosophies, tearing down barriers erected against the truth of God, and fitting every loose thought and emotion and impulse into the structure of a life shaped by Christ. Well, apart from the spiritual dimension, stress comes from two other directions: task-based pressure and people-based pressure. We're going to look at the first of these today, and next time address the second. So let's look first of all at the pressure of the task. Friction and stress are not always negative factors. No car or train can make progress without friction, which, when you come to think of it, is just getting a grip on your environment. However, if your workload is continuing to cause you undue pressure, it's a good idea considering the following checklist. Number one, are my goals realistic? Objectives are very important, but if they're not broken down into short-term attainable goals, then frustration and discouragement are likely to follow. Next, management by objectives. Now that's a helpful tool to apply when each step is given a projected timeline. In this way, progress towards the goal can be measured and we retain control of our life rather than the objective dominating us. Next, is my schedule realistic? Too often at local church level, 20% of the people are doing 80% of the work. Pastors and elders should never allow their home life to suffer because they're spreading themselves too thinly. Even the Apostle Paul was in danger of this when he wrote that he was pressed out of measure above strength. In a future video, we'll be looking at the importance of delegation, but now let's look at the next section. Do I have a clear understanding of the sovereignty of God? Whatever leadership role we occupy at church level, at our best, we're only under-shepherds. It's Jesus who is the chief shepherd of the sheep. And if we're seeking the will of God for the church and doing our best that we can to fulfill God's purpose, we have to leave the results to Him. Very early in my ministry, I read the book written 400 years ago by John Flavel called The Providence of God. It taught me that God was willing to use me to fulfill His purpose, but at the end of the day, when I went to sleep, God was very capable of running His world without my assistance and was certainly able to cope. Sometimes we live as if everything depends upon us, and it doesn't. The next thing we want to consider is the role in which I'm serving God's best plan for me? Now, if you said yes to the last three questions and are still stressed, then this fourth question might well be worth considering. Next, do I feel fitted for the role I'm in, or did someone talk me into doing it and I was just afraid to say no? Well, if you reach that conclusion, then it's time to talk to the senior leader of the church or the person to which you're primarily accountable. Failure to do this will mean that your ministry will degenerate into duty. You feel like David in Saul's armour, or put another way, a square peg in a round hole. Next, does my role find authentication in my life? The word hypocrite literally means one who wears a mask. It occurs in leadership at the point that the image that we project of ourselves does not parallel with our character. At this point, the leader has degenerated into an actor, someone with a role they slip in and out of as soon as the spotlight dims. It takes a lot of spiritual and emotional energy to hold a mask in place. What some people refer to as the external pressure of the role can sometimes be an internal problem of the soul. Let's look at the checklist again. Realistic goals, realistic schedule, understanding the sovereignty of God, knowing it's God's best plan for me, and are we living mask-free? I'm sure that, like me, you've long come to the conclusion there's nothing more fulfilling than seeking to do the will of God. And I trust that what has been shared today will be of encouragement at those times when you encounter stress and pressure, and that it's task-based. So next time we'll look at the second in the series on this subject, but until then, God bless you, and don't forget, keep the caffeine flowing.